Well, this morning, or this weekend actually, is a special day or a special weekend in the life of the church. We've tried something new. For the first time, we've done a church family getaway at a camp down in Brown County. We've got, I think, 45 people that are down there and having a great time, and it's been beautiful weather. And so they are worshiping. Actually, their worship service is just wrapping up down there at this point. But out at the drive-in this morning was our final drive-in service of the season. We've concluded our 49th year out there, and so next year we'll be looking at our 39th year. Next year we'll be looking at our 40th year out at the drive-in. So if anyone would like to come and be a part of a planning meeting for that, we're going to be meeting on Tuesday evening this week at the Annex. Would encourage you to come and do that. Today we're joining both our downtown services together to have a service of praise and music. David Wells is going to be sharing with us in music, and also going to, I think, include Rick and Karen Russell in there some as well. And this morning in your bulletins there should be an envelope. I think some of them are kind of a fluorescent color, and others are just plain white. If you use those envelopes today, anything that is in those envelopes will go to David Wells in appreciation for him sharing with us today in worship. So this time, David, I would invite you to come and share with us in music.
Thank you very much. Well, it is good to be back here in Monticello. I have had the privilege of knowing the Pamples for, I think it's been going on for 13, 14 years. And I think the last time I was here was about 4 years ago. And it's just good to see Connie and the family. We had dinner last night at the Mexican restaurant. And, of course, we got carried away a little bit. But we were happy. We had fun. That's what family is all about. You know, how many of you are familiar with Kenny G? Raise your hand. Okay, well, let's forget about Kenny G today, okay? The only thing we have in common, matter of fact, is his bass player actually works with me, and so it's a good thing, but he is a phenomenal player, but you know, a few weeks ago, I was communicating with Pastor Brian, and I asked him, I said, is there any musicians at the church that might be able to help me on, you know, maybe 2 or 3 songs? And he said, oh, yeah, I have a few that I'm thinking of right now. Now, the problem that I have with this is this, you know, most pastors, their level of musicianship might not be to my standards, if that makes sense. Just because nothing against you, Pastor Brian. But just because Pastor Brian thinks that, you know, some musicians are good doesn't necessarily mean that they're a good musician. So I was on pins and needles all morning, and he mentioned about Rick and Karen, and I'm thinking, okay, well, we'll see how this goes. And what was funny is that we did a walkthrough early this morning, and you know, and Rick really didn't play the piano until, like, you know, half hour later. And I'm thinking, please play something, you know. And so anyway, but Karen came in and we did a talk through with It Is Well With My Soul. And when I heard the notes coming out of her voice, you know, it doesn't take much to get me sidetracked, you know. My wife can tell you that. But anyway, when she started singing, I'm thinking, thank God, because she has a beautiful tone, a beautiful voice. And then when he came in to play It As Well, I'm thinking, this is going to be a good morning. So, Pastor Brian, thank you for letting me know about Rick and Karen. You know, see, I forgot what I was going to say. So anyway, as I travel, when I play at the festivals or different concerts, there's always one hymn that I play, and it's called It Is Well With My Soul. And the reason that I played this hymn is because the most common question that I get outside in the concerts and outside concerts is, why do bad things happen to good people? And here's what I did. I put a video together, the story of it as well, on video, so you can put your eyes up on the videos a little bit. But here, the writer of this song, Horatio Spafford, just to lay the foundation here, he was a man that went to church on a regular basis. He was a man of integrity. He had a beautiful wife and a beautiful family. He had real estate in Chicago. And to make a long story short, within 2 years, you know, he lost his newborn son that a lot of people don't know about. He lost the majority of his real estate in the Chicago fire in the 40s. And then, of course, we all familiar with the shipwreck where he lost his daughters. When I was researching this story, he said the only reason that he was able to get through it all was because his faith in God, and he knew that God is always with him, to give him strength. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and cue up that It Is Well With My Soul. And so hopefully you'll enjoy this song.
Sorrows like sea billows Though Satan should buffet, though trial should come, let this blessed assurance control that Christ hath regarded my helpless estate and has shed his own blood for my soul. It is well with my soul. It is well. It is well with my
You know, it says in Psalms 150, as Pastor Brian mentioned, is that let everything that has breath praise the Lord. And I think what you did this morning with the kids was awesome. You know, oftentimes I wonder why I'm not able to sing or God hasn't blessed me with a voice. But one of the things that I remember is that, you know, God has given each and every one of us a special gift, a special talent, not necessarily music. It could be, you know, it could be sports, or it could be education or engineering or as a doctor or a surgeon. But God has blessed us all with special gifts. And He wants to use our gifts, you know, inside and outside of the church to bless people. So I thank you so much for that beautiful song. Let's go ahead and give a hand for Karen and Rick. You know, it says in Psalms 23, it says, God inhabits in the praises of His people. So where there is praise and worship, God's there. We're going to go ahead and do a song. You know, the first, we actually didn't practice that as well. We didn't actually go through the whole song. And we didn't even practice, period, on this next song. So I'm going to go ahead and let Rick just, we'll follow Rick. Rick, just don't go hysterical on us, will you not? Look, you can tell by his playing, he's just ready to go, isn't he? So anyway, this is called We Fall Down. You know, I have to tell you, I've been playing this song for about 9 years, and I never played it like that. So I'm thinking, let's change it up a little bit, Rick, and let's do a different style, okay? Not that the first time was good, but let's just see how versatile we are.
I'm with you.
Oh, okay. Man, that's fun. I can do this all day. You know, there was a song that I heard. It was a few years back, and this song was actually written by. Jack, you can turn off the video if you don't mind. Yeah, the video's going. That's all right. But anyway, there was a song that came out. It was called "I Lift My Hands." It was written by Chris Tomlin, and if we can cue that one up, Jack. The song talks about when we are in situations where we have no control over what God wants us to do. He wants to take all of our worries, all of our cares, and He wants to go ahead and just fight all our battles. I know that we've all have been in situations where we have no control over. And, you know, I'll share this with you, and I share this story everywhere I go. Well, let me back up a little bit. 4 years ago, the last time I was here, I remember sitting on the dock with Larry and Connie. And I've known, for those that don't know, I've known Larry and Connie for maybe 13, 14 years. I've known the family, and they've become real close to us. And honestly, they were close to my wife, even though they were distant. You know, my wife is my biggest fan. And when a church takes care of me financially and loves on me and everything else, and I'm very appreciative, my wife just loves them. And she knows how Larry and Connie has taken care of me over the years. And what I mean by that is that if I'm on tour and I need to stop somewhere to play, I know I can always call on Connie and Larry, and they say, "Sure, come on up." And I know that they're having this harvest festival at their venue. It's usually on Saturdays, I think. And so they're actually doing it on Sunday. I think it was because of me, right? It's because of me. See, I love him. How can you not love him? So anyway, but I'll share this with you, is that when we were sitting the last night I was with Larry. Larry is a kind of person that he wants to be. He wants to know everything about you. He wants to give you the best advice, and he wants to know what I'm going to be doing. He said, "Dave, you know, what are you going to be doing?" And it was just a really good situation to be in. And but for years, he said, "Bring your family, you know, over a period of years." But this time was a little different. He said, "David, I mean this out of love, but I don't want you to come back to Monticello without your family. And so, and I knew that he was serious about it. But anyway, so I like to, a lot of times people don't know, even if I have a wife. They would think that I'm just making things up about my wife, because they never met her. So my wife has been with me maybe 10 times out of the 15 years. So at this time, I like to go ahead and let my whole family stand up. And this is what you've been waiting for. My son Landon, Brecken, and my wife Angie. So they're here. But anyway, back to this song. This is, I put a video together with the words, so hopefully you'll enjoy this song. But this is called I Lift My Hands. Thank you. I first of all, I've been happily married for 26 years now. My kids, my daughter just graduated from college last year. My son just went to college this year. My dad was a full-time Southern Baptist minister. Any Baptist in here? But wasn't funny as I thought. But anyway, but I have 7 brothers and sisters, and I'm thinking, you know, having a large family is out of the abnormal or out of the norm. And when I was talking with Karen and Rick, we're normal. My family's normal. They have, Rick, how many kids do you have? He has to check with you. Oh, it's 10. It's 10. You can keep on playing. Can you talk and play at the same time? But anyway, you all have 10 kids, and I would have not have ever guessed that. I mean, you guys look great. Well, they do. They do. They have an abnormal.
She got that from you. You just said abnormal.
Yeah. Was that wrong grammar, or was that?
No, I think that's perfect.
Perfect. But anyway, family relationships is important to me, and that's I don't mean to go back with Connie and Larry, but that's what family is. Even though we're not biologically family, we are family, and during the school year, I spend about 90% of my time in the public schools, the high schools, the middle schools, and the elementary schools. And for about 7 years, I've been going in these schools as a motivational speaker and doing concerts and everything else, and talking to kids about dare to dream and making right choices and everything else. For the last, I think, 3 years, I had a principal call me, and he goes, "Dave, I wanted to see if you know of anybody that can come to our school and talk about bullying." How many of you know what bullying is by raising your hand? It's not bullying, it's bullying, where kids get bullied. And I said, well, let me go ahead and see what I can come up with. But anyway, make a long story short, I said, I can do this assembly for you. So for 3 years, I've been doing these assemblies. I go into the schools and talk about bullying. Let me share this with you. Bullying in the public schools is a huge, huge problem. I just found out a couple days ago that bullying is worse now than it has ever been. 1 out of 3, and the reason why I'm saying all this, even though it's not church related, this is part of my ministry when I go into these schools and touch these kids' lives, because this is a huge problem in the schools. 1 out of 3 kids are bullied every day of the school year across the country. 1 out of 3. 1 out of 5 kids are the ones that are doing the bullying. Over 275,000 kids a day do not go to school because they're afraid of being bullied. I found out not too long ago is that a little over 50% of teenage kids worldwide commit suicide because of bullying. I believe this. I believe that a lot of parents are really missing the boat of being true parents. I was raised in church all my life, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Every time the church doors were open, I was there. I love going to church. And what a better, I mean, there's not a better place for our kids to be except in church. Let me explain this to you. The bullies in the schools are kids that have low self-esteem. And what I mean by that is this, that they are kids that they don't think they can do anything well. Nothing's ever good enough. So what they'll do, they'll go ahead and pick on kids smaller than themselves to make themselves feel better. So they have low self-esteem. If we're able to go ahead and get our kids plugged back into school, into church, it's church is a place where we can build their self-esteem. We can encourage them and you know, just to keep on, you know, telling them that they're awesome and all the kids have gifts and talent. It's just a place to be. So that being said, I like to go ahead and play a song that I play in the schools, and this is called Jack. There's not a video on this one, but this is called Hallelujah. I don't think there's a video on this. Thank you. Well, you know, as an instrumentalist, I don't think I can hold people's attention span for too long. You know, and if I was a singer, I think I would do better. Don't you think, Pastor Brian? Am I doing fine? I appreciate Pastor Brian having me come back. And I have to say that a lot of times it's hard to get in churches to play when you're just an instrumentalist. And what I see, Pastor Brian, is that Pastor Brian doesn't put God in a box. You know, so many churches, they'll have vocalists come in, Southern gospel groups, but it's hard to, I'm sure that you probably count on your hand on how many times an instrumentalist has been here. But he believes, obviously, that God can use anybody. So I appreciate you having me come back, Pastor Brian, and I appreciate Rick and Karen for just backing me up, and it just adds so much to what I have. And thank you so much for just not leaving this morning. And if you're not doing anything, we're going to have this big, what's it called? This celebration. Now, let me tell you this. I know I'm in church, but I play at a lot of wine festivals. Don't take this wrong, Pastor Brian. It's just, when I play at a wine festival, the more they drink, the better I sound, And there's more pressure on me here at church because I know they're not supposedly be drinking right now. But anyway, that's one. I don't know. My kids tell me, why do you say the half the things that you say, Dad? But anyway, that being said, thank you so much. Hopefully I'll see you this afternoon.